Welcome everyone, and thank you for watching. I'm going to be sharing with you my mom's special salmon head noodle soup recipe today. This dish is so delicious, healthy, and packed with flavor. For today's recipe, I will be using the tomatoes that I harvested from my garden, along with the Chinese mustard greens that we pickled ourselves. We will also be using a fresh, sweet, ripe pineapple for this recipe. Be sure to watch the full video and watch to the end, as there's some really important cooking tips. What I love about this noodle soup recipe is that it has so many different flavors. It is sweet, a little bit sour, and also savory at the same time. The meat on the salmon head is surprisingly very tender and tasty. The first thing you will need to do is blanch 2 pounds of lean pork for the broth. Now you can use a little bit more if you want it to be more flavorful. Cut the pork into smaller pieces. Cut 4 large slices of ginger. You will need to cut 3 to 4 stalks of pickled mustard greens into small pieces. Check out my video on how to make your own homemade pickled mustard greens. These can be used in so many different ways in daily Chinese cooking. Cut 2 large tomatoes into smaller pieces. We grow so many tomatoes in my backyard that we end up freezing some of these tomatoes, and these are great to make the soup with. Place the pork, ginger, pickled mustard greens, and tomatoes into the soup pot. Add about 2 liters of water to the pot. Now let's prepare our pineapple. You will need to remove the top and the bottom of the pineapple. You can use canned pineapple or pre-cut pineapple, but we like to cut our own fresh, ripe pineapple as it is sweet and tasty in the soup. Remove the skin of the pineapple. Use a smaller knife to remove any remaining spikes on the pineapple. Removing the spikes is one of the most important steps in prepping a pineapple. Cut the pineapple into quarters and remove the core of the pineapple. Cut half of the pineapple into smaller pieces. You can add more or less pineapple based on personal preference. Add the pineapple to the pot, cover, and bring to a boil. Cover and simmer for 30 to 45 minutes. Add 2 tablespoons oil to a pan on high heat. Evenly distribute the oil on the pan. Rinse the salmon heads clean and pat it dry with paper towel. Once the salmon heads are patted dry, add it to the frying pan. You will need to rub the salmon heads with salt and vinegar in order to clean them. Make sure you watch to the end of this video. Flip the salmon heads over when they start to turn golden brown. Once both sides are golden brown, place the salmon heads into the soup. Cover and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes so that the flavor from the salmon will get into the soup. Boil the rice noodles, and this will be your choice in terms of which noodles you want to eat with the soup. Drain and rinse with cold water. Add salt according to your preference. Turn the heat off and gently stir. Do not break the salmon. To serve this noodle soup, add the noodles to the bottom of the bowl and then scoop a generous amount of vegetables and salmon on top of the noodle. This noodle dish is best enjoyed when it's hot. Add a little bit of chili oil if you like spicy. Now this is completely optional, but I highly recommend removing the skin from the tomatoes. Pickled mustard greens can be really salty, so I highly recommend giving them a rinse and then squeezing the excess water out before you go and cut them. Now this part is really important. If you don't like the fishy taste on the salmon heads, you will need to rub it with salt and vinegar and then give them a thorough rinse. Make sure you remove any scales remaining on the salmon heads. I do recognize that some of my viewers don't cook these types of dishes at home, and I think it's important to share with you some of the tips that we use when we're preparing for dishes like this. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.